So in this video, we're simply going to be discussing and talking about identity on sales calls and how you can make the prospect extremely aware and have high urgency so that they need to make a decision on this call as opposed to waiting. And I'm going to walk through some real life examples and break this down for you guys. And hopefully you guys can take something of value and start applying it into your next sales calls, because the truth is, the people at the best, who are the best, the people who at the pinnacle of sales, of athletics, of business, there are disproportionate returns for being the best. First and second place, let's say in the Olympic sprints, the 100 meters, it's like 9.7, whatever it is. Let's say the fastest time is 9.5 seconds. The second place is typically like 9.55 or 9.6. Now it's only a second or half a second, but the disproportionate returns are they get featured on every single news outlet. They get all the medals. They get all the money, way more money. They get all the sponsorships. They get people coming to them. And second place, like, who the hell cares about second place? And that's the God's honest truth about competition in the real world and what most people tend to forget. And so my point is that you truly have to become exceptional at anything you're doing. No half-assing things, no hesitation on whether or not you're going to go all in. If you want to be the best, it's going to pay off at an exponential rate and with disproportionate returns than you possibly could even imagine. Because let's break it down this way. If you are the best salesperson, you close at 55, 60%, 45%, whatever it might be, as long as pricing is right on the back end. Yeah, let's say you're the worst person, the worst salesperson, you're closing at 10%, 15%. That extra 35, 40% or whatever it is, it's not just a percentage. That's money you're actively losing because you're not where you want to be. And then you're all frustrated about, hey, how come I'm not getting the returns I want or the money I want? It's because you're not putting the time or the work in to actually become the best at sales. And so if I close every 6 out of 10 calls and you close every 2 out of 10 calls, and I'm closing at a pricing point of $5,000, that's 4 additional contracts I'm closing, which is 20 plus $1,000 at bare minimum. And what I can do with that extra money is start to create the flywheel and return every single dollar back into ad spend and SMS and take the company to different heights at an exponential rate. And so on sales calls, let's get into it. Prospects. So I recently redid the way I did my pitch. So now prospects can see all nine testimonials, but I don't run through every single one of them because it would, of course, take a while. And so I'll run through 2 or 3, and I'll run through my pitch with super high conviction, great energy, great tonality. Hey, makes sense. Tracking and data. This is why we're so successful. This is why This is why we've actively served over 40 plus clients now. Hey, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Yes, it makes sense. Make sure that they're actually understanding what you're saying, because if not, then it's going to go in one ear out the other, and that's not nice. That's not something you want to have happen to you. And so I redid my pitch, 9 testimonials. I'll run through 2 or 3 of them. And at the end of the call, I'll make sure everything was pretty rock solid. I'll feel great about the pitch. I'll feel great about what I'm doing and the product that I've built, because I truly believe in it. And the prospect will still say, oh, I need to think about it. Oh, let me speak to my business partner. Not hell yeah, let's get right into it. It's, oh, I need to think about it. And this happened recently too. And I said to myself, like, where did I go wrong? Because if the person truly, truly, truly in their heart believed in what I was doing and that I can take them to where they want to go, it would just be hands up, hell yeah, let's go, send the invoice, I'm ready to rock and roll. But instead they were hit with these limiting beliefs in their minds. And this is the point of this video: identity. And now this I just want to preface with, this is general. Like, this is general advice, and breaking it down to the specifics of each call is like very idiosyncratic, and it depends on a case by case scenario. But on my specific example, I should have done a better job in the discovery. I should have got commitment. I should have pre-handled all the objections I had received on the commitment aspect of things, on the commitment side of things. And so it really comes down to making the person understands that they're not where they want to be. It's taken them a year or 2 year or 3 years, however long it's taken them, and they simply do not have the system in place to get them to where they want to go. And when you discuss bridges, you're basically saying to the prospects, everything you've done hasn't worked for a specific reason, or else you'd still be working with them. What you're currently doing isn't enough to take you to where you want to go. And so you could say things like, so correct me if I'm wrong, and this is what we've seen with working with dozens of contractors, is that many of them come to us without a scalable, predictable acquisition channel, which in turn is causing you guys to actively lose money to your competitors each and every single month. But does it sound like we're missing a system to be to get you to where you want to go? And so you want to say it in a caring and slightly confused tone, because when you have this, when you use a certain tone, it then softens the blow and the impact of your questions. Because more so with type A individuals, if you ask pretty cutthroat questions, which might be taken as a direct attack on them, on their identity, you might not want that to happen necessarily. Now, these conversations are uncomfortable most of the time because they're not where they want to be, and you have to bring out the pain. But you ask that question to increase awareness on their situation, in that they don't have a system and that your solution is the fix to their problem. Now, this is if you truly believe as well that you can help people. I've turned people away just because I didn't want to work with them, just because I thought I knew that they'd be a pain in the ass client. And if you are in the beginning of SMMA and you are taking sales calls, my advice would just be to say yes to everything. Say yes to everything. And you're not going to know who a good client is and who isn't by just people telling you. You need to experience this for yourself. So that's the awareness side of things. You directly, explicitly say, hey, you're missing this, but say it in that tone. And then when they do say, yeah, I think I kind of see what you're saying. Why? Why do you see? Why do you see what I'm saying to be true in this case? Well, I mean, for the last couple months we haven't had this, and that, and we've tried this and it hasn't worked, and I kind of see what you're saying, but what have we lost because we haven't had a system in place? Like, listen, man, this isn't a try to get you moment, but like, what have we lost because this way of thinking, this way of not having a system in place? What do you mean by lost? Well, how much money have we lost? And then you break down the cost of inaction, and you consequence all the bad patterns. And so, like, you want to get how much more work they could be doing at current capacity, whether that's 15, 20 jobs, average price point of a job, $10,000. If they can handle 20 more jobs at a $10,000 price point, that's $200,000 they're actively losing. And then going back to the point of this call, identity, you want to ask identity based questions. And that is, are you okay with that? Are you okay with actively losing $200,000 each and every single month for the last year? That's that's a lot of money. That's a couple $1 million. And so when you ask them are they okay with it, obviously they're not going to be okay with it. Guys, obviously they're not going to be okay with it. But that's just the reality of the world. And one of the analogies that we use on these sales calls is like, oh, it's like, the fat person says they want to lose weight, but they haven't done anything about their situation. They haven't changed their eating habits. They haven't gone to the gym. They haven't tracked their calories, but they still say they want to lose weight, right? Like, you can use different analogies to bridge the gap in their minds. And the identity based question is, in this situation, are you okay with that? Are you okay with losing this amount of money? They're going to say no. And then in return, what you can say, there are different ways of handling this, but you can say, listen, man, this isn't a try to get you moment, right? But like you say you're not okay with losing this, but what have we done for the last year to get us out of this situation that you've been in? What have we done? What's prevented you from getting you to where you wanted to go? And these conversations are uncomfortable, but this is pain. This is awareness. This is truth. In these calls, we must confront because the truth will set you free. But going back to this line of questioning, people need to feel the pain of staying the same and the pain of regret for not doing anything. And it doesn't matter if they're, more logical or, they're more type A, they make rational choices. Bullshit. It's all identity based. And even if you do get a more analytic type person that wants to see the numbers, you still break it down regardless of who they are as a person. And once you kind of take enough sales calls, you're going to see the pattern too that kind of that forms each and every single time. Okay, what have you done? Where are you at? How much more can you handle? What have you done? Where do you want to go? What's prevented you? And it's all relative, right? But a good salesperson never assumes. This was my problem. I started taking enough sales calls to the point where I was like, I'm just assuming all of these answers. And I caught myself doing that. And it's not good. You don't want to assume, right? Like the best salespeople never assume things, though they do understand the line of questioning and where it's going to lead, right? So that's the awareness side of things, guys, and the urgency. People need to feel the pain. It's kind of like the mouse experiments. The mouse experiments was they had a mouse and they had the scent of cheese and they had the scent of a cat, and they measured the pull of its tail, the strength of the pull of its tail when going up against pain, which is the smell of the cat, or pleasure, the smell of the cheese. And what I found is that the sense of the cat moved the mouse the furthest and it applied the most force. It was the strongest compared to the cheese. But when you combine the two together, it's the most powerful. So people only move with the pain of regret and the pain of their current situation while also seeing the future and laying out the path forward with your plan. And this is only if you can help because we're on these calls to help people in the first place. And so that's the pitch, that's the dream state, that's where they want to go. And you want to be a little bit higher in energy because we're talking about their goals and their aspirations, and it's a good time to get them involved and feel excited about what's going to happen if they go with your program or when they go with your program. So the urgency is, why now? Why now? Push, pull, push, pull. Your questions are meant to pull prospects in while also coming from a place of abundance and alignment, in that you don't need them necessarily. You don't need the money. You don't need the extra client because we're doing it to help people. And one of the ways we can push prospects away is by saying, why now? Why don't you just double down on what you're doing? I mean, you said you're getting your leads or your jobs through SEO or Angie's or whatever it might be. Why don't you just double down on what you're currently doing? It makes logical sense. I mean, why are we on this call if you could just double down on what you're doing? And then you'll get people pulling themselves in, coming to you with their problems, why it doesn't work. And then once you have that all established, that what they've done isn't working for a very clear reason, and what they're doing, they just don't double down on because of whatever the reason is they're going to tell you, then you could move the conversation forward into future pacing by saying, so it sounds like something needs to change. So it sounds like we need to make a change because we're actively losing X amount of dollars of money. We've tried this, and that, and it hasn't worked. And what you're currently doing isn't sufficient enough to double your revenue each and every single month or whatever their goal might be. And that future pacing then leads into their dream state, and that dream state leads then into your pitch and what's going to happen moving forward. And your pitch should just simply be, a layout of what the program entails moving forward. Act and you want to speak and have verbiage and definitive in definitive words, like this is going to happen. No conditional tense, no would, could, should have, none of that, because you want to assume the sale. So identity is why people buy, yourself included. You wear certain clothes, you wear certain colognes, you travel to certain countries, you have a certain sense in fashion, and that's all tied to your identity, and it's all emotional. And so it's the exact same thing on this call. And what's really cool and unique about sales guys in general is that it's all psychology, and our brains haven't changed since the first humans started walking earth. So once you get really good at sales, you can then take this and apply it for the rest of your life. But I hope this call is of value to you guys, and there's a lot of sauce on this call, a lot of golden nuggets. And if you're listening to this, take something with value and apply it into your next call, and I'll see you.